Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Influence Economy. I'm your host, Shayna Davis. I'm so glad that you're here today. But before we get started, you know I've got a favor. So, wherever you're listening to this episode, I want you to take a screenshot. With that screenshot, I want you to post it on your social media, tag us here at Shayna Rattler Davis, and I just want to hear your biggest aha moment or your biggest takeaway from this episode. And the reason why I do that is not because I want you to boost the number of downloads that I can tell my sponsors about. But I know that there are far too many women that are seen and not paid well. And so many people don't know where to start to change that. And so the more times these episodes are shared, the more people that can be exposed to the shifts that are required in order to be able to own their influence. So thank you so much in advance for being willing to share, share, share. All right. Well, I'm going to read my guest bio and we're going to get started for what I know is going to be a great conversation. Listen, y'all. If you don't have your pen and your paper out or your pencils, whatever it is that you write with, I'm old school, so you might take notes digitally. You're going to want to take notes because this episode will make you money. All right, here we go. My guest today is the CEO of If You Create It, a video marketing and consulting agency in Houston, Texas, where she strategically helps business owners develop video and funnel marketing strategies. In just 4 years, through vertical video marketing, she has grown an audience of over 500,000, generated over $2 million in her business, and has helped thousands of business owners scale and market their businesses online. She recently helped one of her clients reach over $1 million in her business in just 10 months on the TikTok platform. So I am excited to welcome to the show, Keenya Kelly.
Yay. Thank you so much, Shane. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, I'm glad you're here. So listen, y'all, if you've listened to my show any amount of time, you know that most of the strategies that I teach are offline. But I don't think you can, but you shouldn't ignore having an online following. And I don't ignore it either, even though I'm all about contracts and sponsorships and book deals and all the things that I call the high five opportunities. You can't and shouldn't ignore having an online presence. And I'm excited to have Kenya here today because there are a lot of people out there that discuss social media, but she is one of the most trusted voices in this space. And so I'm glad to have her here to share how we can all get results like she's been getting in the results of her clients that we shared in the bio. So, Kenya, I'm curious, what do you see that most people are getting wrong in their approach these days on social media?
For sure. So one of the things that I think is that people are still focused on 100% maybe long form content. Long form is amazing. That's how I built my audience on live stream and creating like filming a video and then uploading it. But I think that people are not really understanding the power of what is happening with short vertical video and good short vertical video because our audience has changed. Our attention spans are so shot. Like the average attention span of a person is 8 to 11 seconds. And as much as I want them to be in my hour long live stream, they're just not there as much until they're committed to be there.
Right. And it makes so much sense because many people that find you and follow you online either haven't been there long or because of the algorithm, they're not seeing all of your stuff. So it's almost like a man like saying, "Will you marry me on the first date?" Like they're not going to marry you on the first date. And so your
Mhm.
short form content really gives them the opportunity to establish a relationship with you, as weird as that sounds, really
Mhm.
learn what it is that you're about, and then be like, oh, okay, if I'm getting this much out of the short stuff, now let me really watch, some of the longer
Mhm.
stuff. Is that how that works?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a commercial. When people come on social media in general, they don't come on there for us. They come on there to be entertained, and we are the commercial to their entertainment. And so if they're going to sit there and watch our commercial, you best be believing that it's got to be something that's going to capture their attention. And then, oftentimes people may not follow you or do an action with you immediately, but if whatever you're doing or saying really resonates with them, oh, they're going to come back and next thing you know, they're going to be a client.
I'm actually in Kenya's program right now to learn how to master video marketing or vertical video. It's actually called vertical video mastery. So no, all pun intended on those words. But that really shifted how I view the things that I'm willing to do in my videos versus the things that I felt like that's not for me. I'm not that girl. When you said, when they come to social media, you are the commercial in their show that they're watching. And at the time that you said this, we had just had Super Bowl 2025.
Mhm.
And I said, oh, the reason why I like the commercials in the Super Bowl, or the reason why there's a couple of commercials that I don't like pause, like the mute button on, is because I really do like the fact that I'm intrigued or I'm entertained
Mhm.
and I'm willing to watch those commercials. And it really just gave me such freedom and liberty to be like, okay, I don't have to always be. So this is one of the things that you'll learn if you work with Keenya. She'll teach you what your style is, like your content. And so I'm an expert gal. And so
Mhm.
as an expert gal, I would have always thought like, no, I need to be serious and I need to be teaching and I need to be sophisticated and all these
Mhm.
things that I'm nothing like. In the
Right.
real world. And so now it's just like, okay, this is my opportunity. But here's the thing, Kenya, I always struggled with how do I blend my personality and my boldness and my directness, like with teaching. And I'm like, oh, this gives me the opportunity to actually really be me, these
Mhm.
short videos that I'm shooting. And then if they watch something that's longer, that's when they can get the more sophisticated, buttoned up Shane on the few times that she actually peeks her head out.
Yeah, exactly. Because like the thing about when you're creating a content online as the commercial, you got to get people's attention. And when we think about the average person, we don't necessarily come to social media to experience something serious. We're coming
Yeah.
there to be entertained for whatever reason.
Right.
And so like for me, I can be very goofy or I can be very serious. And I recognize that my audience needs something to cause them to stop and watch me, which is the hook. And I guess we'll talk about that. But instead of me just going all in about their funnel or in like on their framework, I am showing them through creativity so they can go, huh, I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about her. That really resonates with me. And then now they want the more. So, like, I've had a lot of clients who are very serious in what they do. One was called Mommy Millionaire, and she just helped women become millionaires, like stay at home moms become millionaires. Her business is very serious. And so, when she came to me, she was like, I won't do this, 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 and that. And I said, okay, we don't have to do any of that. And then, over the course of 30, 60, 90 days, I started looking at her socials and I was like, what is going on? And she goes, I'm having so much fun. And
Yeah.
people are connecting to it because people want a real person, and real people, real businesses aren't always like, here's a rule, do this, this, and this, but you're just allowing for creativity. It's kind of like if you don't follow Duolingo on TikTok or anywhere, you should be. Duolingo is a platform that teaches you how to learn a different language.
Oh,
And you
wow.
would think, oh, it's professional, yada yada yada. Well, they just killed the mascot after Drake's was Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl. They did something creative or whatever, and then they quote unquote killed the mascot. And what ended up happening was quite the social media storm. Every other mascot starts going to the funeral of Duolingo in videos. And so then this week they came back and said, psych, I'm not dead. But what did that do? The amount of people who are aware of Duolingo today because of that, second to none.
Yeah, yeah. And if I don't know what it was, now I want to go back and watch some of
Yeah,
the other stuff because I'm like, what do you mean you're not dead?
yeah, exactly.
Why
Oh,
should
oh
you
my
have been
God.
dead?
Hmm.
So before we get into some of the technical stuff, some more of the how to, are there any other mindsets that we need to adopt in order to be successful on social media?
Yeah. So one of the first things it's important to understand that you're going to have to get on video, right? So you're going to have to think about like how do you actually feel about being on video, because oftentimes we don't really like what we see when we look in the mirror. But if you're going to utilize social media, the number one way to get in front of your audience is through video. And right now it is through short video. So you're going to have to take a look and see what is it that you like and don't like about how you look, how you sound, and you're going to have to just accept it because that's how you look and that's how you sound. All right. The second thing is that you have to remember that it's going to take time for you to really learn how to effectively be yourself and present your product or service to your audience. But also that you can't focus on virality. Everybody wants to go viral, but most people don't really know how to create viral content. Two, they're not ready to handle what happens when you go viral, because when you go viral, you're going to reach people who want to do business with you, and you're going to reach people who hate you, who don't even know you. And you're going to be dealing with both of them at the same time. And if your business cannot handle a viral moment in terms of lead generation and sales, then it could put you out of business, like what has happened to some businesses after result of Oprah's favorite things. Oprah is well meaning, but many of these businesses weren't ready for the Oprah effect.
Absolutely. It's this is not a systems conversation, but you have to have the right systems and processes in place,
Mhm.
especially if you're working by yourself or have a very small team. I've been in the corporate contracting space for a very long time, and it was very disheartening to some business owners when they would go to like the city to get a contract, and the city would tell them, "We would put you out of business if we gave you this contract." And they
Mhm.
just didn't understand that. They're like, what do you mean? Like, that's what's wrong. You don't want to give small business owners opportunities. You don't want to give Black people opportunities. And they're like, no, we don't want to put you out of business. And if you don't have the right structure in place and the right
Mhm.
systems, the right people, all those things, getting a lot of attention or a lot of volume in sales is going to sink you. And I don't think you went out of business to be sunk. So maybe
Correct.
get your systems in place before you start thinking about going viral.
It is 100% true. It's like I've had some clients or people that have come to me that have gone viral before me and they didn't capture any leads. But then I had one young lady, she's very introverted, and we taught her how to create viral content. She had her lead magnet ready. She got over, I think it was 2 million views in 24 hours, 50,000 followers, and 20,000 people joined her email list because
Wow.
she was ready. And
Yeah.
so if I was going to get 20,000 email subscribers through Facebook ads, that's at least $40,000, to spend to get that many conversions from a Facebook ad. But because her system was ready, her lead magnet was ready, boom, now she's making sales from her massive email list.
Yeah. One of the things that I teach here is that influence is not just about visibility. It's about a lot of things, but one of the things it's about meaningful engagement. So, is there a way through the screen and with these followers that we don't know and they don't know us? Is there a way to build authentic relationships with them?
Oh, for sure. So one of the things I always tell our clients is before you start creating videos, you got to figure out who is your audience, not just your who is my ideal client avatar. I mean, we do that and that's important, but you have to really understand what is going on with them. Like what are they really, really struggling with? Not just I need a lead magnet or I need to make money, but it's like, why do they need to make money? Oh, well, my kid needs to go to a better school, or my kid needs to do this, or I haven't been on vacation in 5 years, or I have my husband has health issues, right? You have to really figure out what's going on with your audience. And one thing that I do on a regular basis is I poll my audience. I poll them on Facebook and Facebook groups. I poll them in my stories on Instagram, and I see what is really going on with them because then my content can connect with them. But not only that, if you can't poll your audience, I go to my competitors' content and I go into their comment section and I'll look at the videos that they're posting about topics that I can help with. And I look at the comment section. I go, what are people actually saying in this comment section? What are they asking? What are they feeling? And that tells me so much without me ever having to ask a particular person. And so then when you start creating content, you're creating it as a normal person. So I'm not just going to get on a video and say, to girl on Instagram, you need to do this, this, this. I'm going to actually try to act like I know you and connect with you. And then the after you're posting content, you can't just post and ghost, right? You
Yeah.
have to actually engage with people because people don't just buy because your video was great. They buy because they believe that you can bring them to some type of transformation. And it's easy to do that if you just engage with them. So everybody that comments on our stuff, we try our best to comment back to everybody. If they DM us, we try our best to DM. If I'm too busy, we have a VA and we've taught her how to do it. And you will be amazed at what can happen. Like I just worked with someone last week who said, I've been following you for like 5 years and I was ready to book a call with you. And so I did. 5 years she's been
Wow.
seeing me and connecting with me. And when she was ready, she made the purchase.
One of the things that I love about the exercise that you gave of looking to see what people are saying in the comments is because then you're solving the problem that they recognize they have and using the language that they use. Because
Hmm.
oftentimes, as the expert or the creator or the person that is making the product, we speak to our audience in the problem that we think that we know they really have. Because
Hmm.
sometimes we recognize that the issues that they're having are because of underlying issues that they don't recognize they have. And
Right.
so if you're speaking to the problem that you think they have, or you're using words that they don't use, then your content is just going to flop because they're not going to be like, pick me, pick me. I think about the infomercials that used to come. I don't know if they still come on in the middle of the night or not, but when they're like, have you always X? Did you want to Y? And you're like, pick me, because they've
Yeah.
really taken the time to think about what is the problem that you recognize that you have, and what are the words that you use. So many people are using these like cute, clever, cliche, sexy things. And I'm like, nobody's laying in bed at night being like, if I could just have more, if I could
Right.
just thrive, if I could just, I mean, like they're not using these types of
No.
words. And so that's a really good way for you to figure out, like, how do you talk like they talk so they recognize that you're the person that they need to deal with.
Exactly. And that's why I tell people all the time I speak in a lot of basic language because I'm like when we're thinking and we're trying to figure something out, it's all basic. And if I can connect to you and say, and I can talk to you about the fact that you're trying to get your kid into college or your kid needs a new trumpet because it's falling to pieces, you're like, yes, this girl gets me. She gets me. That's like sometimes my clients are like doctors or therapists and they'll use this fancy language. And I
Yeah.
say, that's amazing if that audience understands what that means, or they have
But they
these like
don't.
acronyms or AWS or whatever. And I'm like, I get that for you, but the average person, if you're trying to reach people that don't know that, you can't talk in that language because they're just going to scroll away because they don't get it. They're not going to give you a chance to fully explain all that when they're just like, I don't get it.
And if you're talking over their head, they're going to assume that the chances are that if they work with you, that
I'm
you're
the
going to
same way.
continue to talk over their head. And then what am
Hmm.
I going to get out of that other than just money and time wasted?
It's like every coach I've ever hired, if she or he was talking fancy, I don't work with them because I'm like, you may be absolutely amazing, but I cannot relate to you. And this is how I am and how I think and how I process. But the girls and guys that are like, talk on my level, even if they got PhDs, I'm like, I see you, I get you. Yes, hired.
And I can promise you that that's the way she is in her course, because I have not, I've taken the entire course and I haven't heard anything that I was like, I don't even know what that means. I'm not like
Right.
pausing it and going to Google
No,
to see what that means and then coming back to try to implement it. It's very, very easy to follow. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get into some more of the technical things that I know that they're probably itching to hear at this point. We'll be right back. Ready to turn your influence into income? Take the Influence Growth Assessment. In just minutes, you'll uncover the next steps to grow your visibility, attract bigger opportunities, and boost your profitability. Visit myinfluencestyle.com to take the assessment today. A new era of success is waiting. Let's make it yours. All right, so we have Keenya Kelly here, social media extraordinaire. And so before the break, we were talking about, what mindset do you need to have if you're going to win online? We've talked about like how do you build meaningful relationships with your audience? And so I want to talk about some of the technical things. So you talked about you alluded to this a little bit in a comment before the break. So what would you say? Obviously, you've got a whole course on this. So in the confines of an answer on an interview, what makes for a good video? If we were only going to
Mhm.
master one thing in the next 7 days after this interview, what makes for a good video?
For sure. So, especially as a business owner, it's first knowing what the goal is of the video, right? Before the video was ever filmed, you're like, what is my goal? Is it to get followers? Is it to get people to opt in? Is it to get people to just engage? Or am I trying to sell something? That's the first thing. Before you ever film, what's the goal, right? Then you got to ask yourself the question of like, what problem am I trying to solve? Right. So, for example, if I'm teaching you how to grow an account on TikTok, there's a lot of things that I can talk to you about. But if the goal of the video is for me to teach you how to get people to your bio without saying link in bio, then I'm like, okay, the goal is to help them get people to their bio, right? But what's the problem they're having? They don't know what to say. They don't know how to get people there, right? So now I know what problem you're having, right? Second, the next thing I have to do is I have to figure out how am I going to get you to actually stop and watch the content. We call that the hook, right? So each video has a hook in the beginning, a reason to stay, which is the problem that you're solving, and then how what you're going to do next, like what you actually want them to do. So when you're filming your video, first thing you have to have is you have to have a hook. And a hook is basically the text you have on screen. It could be what you say or what they're hearing, or it could be something visual, because you've got 1 to 2 seconds to get somebody's attention. You may be amazing. What you're getting ready to say or do may be amazing, but it means nothing if they don't get to it, right? So the first 1 to 2 seconds, if it's not captivating, they are gone. So you've got to ask yourself, when somebody scrolls on me, what are they going to hear, see, feel, experience that's going to make them stop and watch? So oftentimes you'll see me high level expression, or I'll have some type of text or some type of movement, and the whole intention is that is I'm just trying to get your attention, right? But with the hook that I'm giving you, I'm also giving you the reason why this is the video you need to stop and watch. And then you don't want to just go on and on and on in a video. Now, I am a preacher by nature, right? But nobody cares, right? They didn't come on social media for me. So whatever message I'm trying to convey in that video, I want to get short and to the point. Okay. So if you normally talk in 1 minute and that video could be 30 seconds, bring it down to 30 seconds. Okay. If it needs to be 1 minute, then let it be 1 minute. But you have to have a hook. You got to get to the point of what you're trying to make. Take them on some type of emotional journey. Okay. It doesn't mean like highs and lows. It just means that they're not just sitting there being like bored, like they're watching their teacher in college, but they're actually feeling something. And then now you're going to take them to the result, whether it is follow me for more, ask me questions, or don't say link in bio. You can say visit my profile or send me a DM or something like that. You just can't say link in bio.
Yeah. And I know most people are like, because we're all either saying it or typing it. So
Yeah.
there's obviously so much that she cannot teach you in the confines of an interview. There's a couple of other things that we all say that you should not say, but I'm not going to give away the farm. So if people want to take things further with you, number one, what social media should they follow you on? What do you prefer?
Yeah. So you guys, I'm on all socials. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Keenya Kelly, KeenyKelly. But I'm everywhere.
Perfect. And do you have anything that you would like to offer if they want to take things further with you?
Yeah, for sure. So I just talked about hooks, you guys. And so for those of you all that are trying to figure out what can you say in a video, what can you do in a video, we created a document. It used to be 75, now it's 150 viral hooks of things you can say, do, or hear. And you guys can go to my website, KeenyaKelly.com/75 hooks, and you can grab those.
Perfect. I'm going to make sure that all of this is in the downloads. That hook is good. Like I'm going to record a bunch of what's called B-roll today after
Mhm.
we get off of here. I've got my two different shirts laid out.
Mhm. That's
They're gonna know
good.
I batch recorded this because I never wear my hair like this, but it's okay. Anyway, I appreciate you for being here today. I appreciate you for sharing your wisdom. Y'all share this episode because so many people are wondering why they're not meeting their goals online. There's things that you need to do, there's things that you need to make sure that you don't do, and you can get all of that if you begin to follow Kenya. So I appreciate you for being here. I hope that everyone will go back and listen to future episodes, past ones as well. So everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.